Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of A Father's Note, where we promote fatherhood through building men. As always, we're certainly happy that you took the time out of your busy schedule to come and spend the evening with us. It is certainly a great pleasure, but while we're here, we definitely want to encourage you to support our YouTube channel, Father's Note with Lionel Nelson. I do have a handle now. If you just go to youtube.com and you put in at A Father's Note, it would take you directly to our channel. That way you don't have to go all over town searching for it. It's right there. But while you're there, please subscribe, help us support us on the channel, subscribe, like, comment, share what we're doing here. We definitely appreciate your support and need your support. Also here, while you're here, if you're watching by Facebook, we welcome you as well. Listen, how about tag somebody in this video, because we need to talk about church and our relationship. I did say our relationship with politics. And I'm going to be very candid that when I see certain things, when it involves politics, I'm a bit disturbed with the church. Okay, and in case y'all want to know, I did. Let me go ahead and do this now so y'all can see. I did vote. I'm an early voter. All right, I got my vote out the way. Yes, but listen, where the church that I attend, Spirit of Life Ministries in Hollandale, under the leadership of Apostle Jonas Clark. One of the things that he shared with us that the Lord had told him that to install in the ministry leadership program, and he said that the Lord had told him that it would take about 10 years. And I can tell you that number one, I was grateful that I was fortunate to be a part of that. God bless you as well, Mr. Carvel. Thank you, man. I was grateful to be a part of that leadership training because there was so much that was instilled in us. And you can see how the church, it operates and it functions. You can see and tell that it has great leadership in the house. But yet, though, if that leadership training was not implemented in the church, it's most likely that I'm going to be very candid with you all tonight. I'm going to speak the truth. We probably, in addition, will be a dysfunctional church, just like a lot of other churches. They only have one or two leaders in it, but they're not instilling it. And one of the things that we must understand, this is what the disciples went through. Jesus had a leadership training even with his disciples. So we are taught that leadership is not a place of position, but it's a place of influence. It's a place of influence. That's what leadership is. But yet, though, we need to take in consideration what type of influence are you? Are you interjecting a positive influence that benefits everybody, or are you only interjecting or promoting an influence that only benefits you and a certain amount of people? So the question is whether or not the church should be involved with politics. And, we hear that at times. I know when I was coming up through church, we were taught that really you should not get involved. Church should not be involved with politics. But I'm going to answer and say, yes, y'all excuse me. Church should be involved in politics. And I'm going to read a couple of scriptures here. Then we're going to get into the meat of this whole conversation. Y'all stick around now, because I'm going to really I'm gonna be very direct and blunt and target some things, okay? Because listen, okay, let me stay on track here. If you look at Psalms 22 or 28, I know. Listen, I'm not taking you all to church. I'm not trying to have a Bible study here, but I need to establish this here based on scripture for the main particular reason that if you have an argument, you're going to have an argument with the word. You will not be having an argument with me, because to tell you the truth, I can care less. If you disagree, agree, that's fine. One way or the other. But as I was saying, it's okay to disagree, but let's not be disagreeable. And when you talk about someone being disagreeable, what you're basically saying is that person, you're mad at me or something like that, whatever, But when you look at Psalms 22:28, it says that God owns all the kingdoms and rules over the countries. Okay. Romans 13:1 says that let every soul be subject unto the higher power, for there is no power but of God. The powers that be are ordained of God. So God ordained government. Government was ordained by God. Okay, the reason that we have government today is because of God. Even Daniel 2:21, he says that he changes times and seasons. He removes kings and set up kings. Okay, he gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to those who have understanding. All right. So in essence, it is God who gives that wisdom, who gives that understanding about uh, uh, about how the kingdom should be functioned. Okay, Proverbs 8:15-16. By me kings reign and rulers decree what is just. By me princes rule and nobles, all who govern justly. Okay. And but even if we are not in leadership, church, this is what we're supposed to be doing. We are supposed to be praying for our government leaders. That's what we should be doing. Not talking about them, not slandering them, but we ought to be praying. We ought to be interceding for them if we want them, that they will lead correctly, that they will lead based on the principles of God, that they will lead based on what not benefit them, but benefit the masses, what is good for the masses. Okay, Proverbs 29:2 says that when the righteous are in authority, listen to this now. I want to take my time reading. It says that when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. I'll give you another translation. It said that when the righteous increase, the people rejoice. But when the wicked rule, the people groan. And I think when we look at what is going on and taking place in our economy today, we can absolutely say that, a lot of people are moaning right now because of the state of the economy. Okay, so the question is why? The question is why? All right. Proverbs 14:31 says that whoever oppresses a poor man insults his master, but he who is generous to the needy honors him. All right. So we're supposed to be praying, but for these particular reasons, that they would do right by all of us. Okay. How about tag somebody and let somebody know that we are on tonight? Okay. Go ahead and tag someone. And listen, also, when you look at the word of God, okay, it also identifies that, there are times that we will have corrupt leaders in government. Okay, and Proverbs 16:12 says that it is an abomination to kings to commit wickedness, for the throne is established by righteousness. Okay, so in essence, they may have a rightful understanding, or they may have I'm gonna say it this way, they have a right intent when they go in, but once they get in and get that power and begin to commingle, it can't corrupt it. But let me say this here in light of that. Listen, power doesn't corrupt, okay? But what power does, it reveals the corruption in you. That's what it does, okay? Hosea 9:9, it says that they have deeply corrupted themselves, okay? We're just saying that. As in the days of Gabriel, therefore he will remain their iniquity. He will visit their sins. So when you're in power and you're doing wrong by God's people, listen, you will encounter some form of, I'm going to say it this way, you're going to have to pay for your wrongdoing. It's no question about it. Okay. Let me see here. Let me give you one more scripture, then we're going to move on. Okay. When you look at Isaiah 1:4, it says, all sinful nation, people laden with iniquity, offsprings of evildoers. That's what we have right now. Children who deal corruptly. Children are off the chart. They have no discipline. Look at all of the robbery. Look at all of the murdering. Look at all of the corruption that's going on and the disarray with our young people, our youth today. I mean, it's almost as if they have no sensible moral compass at all with what's going on, what's taking place. It says that they have forsaken the Lord. Okay, they have despised the Holy One of Israel. They are utterly estranged. So, in essence, when you get away from God, this is what we get. When you get away from doing those things, leaders, that is right. This is what we have. We end up having the type of chaos that we are experiencing right now today. How about you all? If y'all have a comment to anything that I'm saying here, y'all, how about let us know in the comments? Okay. Listen, the other thing too, that we need to be considered as a church, we should be looking for leaders who lead on the principles of Christ. Okay. So when you're going to vote for someone, the question is, are you casting your vote for someone who are going to uphold not only the laws of the land, but the laws of God, the principles of God? So I think that when we cast our vote for any particular candidate, we need to really cast our vote toward an individual who is really, I would say, they are going to continue to represent your moral beliefs, your moral principles, those principles, especially, I'm talking to the church now. I'm not talking to the world. I'm talking to the church, especially if you're professing to be Christ. Okay, does that individual that you're going to cast your vote for, do they themselves carry and support and promote those same principles? In essence, they are your voice for what you believe. So when you cast your vote for a particular individual as a leader in this United States, in this government, or for government, they're representing you. They are representing your standards, what you believe in, how you feel, and what you stand for as a Christian. Okay, so when you look at it, again, yes, we're supposed to be supporting. We're supposed to be casting our vote for people who would continue to promote, do those things that are right in the eyesight of God. They would support those things, those moral principles that meet your values. So listen, and I want to say this here too, that I'm not saying this based on political party, even though I know that a lot of us vote on political party, whether or not you're a Democrat, whether or not you're a Republican, whether or not, well, it don't go for the independent, but still, the independent can go either way, one way or the other. All right. So I had this slide. I want to put this up. I want to put this slide up because I had it to put up. Again, leadership is not a place of position, but a place of influence. So the question is, when you cast your vote, are you casting your vote for someone who is going to influence your belief, who is going to continue to influence that what you believe, that what you promote? So let's go real quickly here, and let's look at. I'm just going to target really just two races that pertaining to Florida. Okay, since we live here in Florida, most of us live here in Florida, and I want to start with the governor's race. All right. And we know that the two top candidates for the governorship this year in 2022 is Charlie Crist, who's a Democrat and running for the Democratic Party, shall I say. And then we also have Ron DeSantis, who is a Republican. So I want to go down a list of things here, okay, as to what they support and what they oppose. All right. So first thing that they have here, when you talk about abortion on demand. Now, I don't know about you, but that's a big thing for me. And there's a saying. Well, this is what I'm going to copy what our apostle says. He says that if you would kill a baby, you'll kill anybody. All right. So we talk about abortion. All right. Now I hear all the narrative. Well, what if it's because of incest? What if because of rape? What have you? That's still your moral compass. But look at this here. Look at this. Let me say this here to you all. So one scripture comes to mind. I don't know the address particularly. All right. But it says that I've known you in your mother's womb. I think he was talking to this in Jeremiah. Okay. I know the plans I have for you. And I'm just paraphrasing you all. So don't hit me over the head or hit me over the coals for it. But God knew about that child even before it was going to be conceived in your womb. So if you're okay with abortion, then you're discrediting God. Okay, you think God would be approving of that, and this is how I feel, and I'm going to say this right now, so that if in case you're interested, and this is my belief that any person, any candidate who stands for abortion, does not get my vote. If you stand for abortion, if you stand for murdering innocent children, do not get my vote. So y'all probably already know which way I'm leaning when it comes to that. Okay. But when it comes down to abortion on demand, Charlie Crist is for it. Ron DeSantis is against it. Talk about critical race theory. All right. In schools, Charlie Crist is for it. Ron DeSantis is against it. You know what? I'm going to tell you all something. I am so grateful that I do not have children in school going to school today. I may have some grands, but not my children. Because I would be, if it was up to me, I would definitely be homeschooling them. Because I think that why would you want to waste time on teaching critical race theory when you look at our math and reading scores are so low? I have teachers in our families, and it's sad when they're telling me that fifth graders don't even know syllables. Fifth graders don't even know how to count to 40 or 50 when they can't even spell. Fifth graders now. I mean, this is you don't learn your numbers and colors when you in preschool, but here it is. Well, and I don't want to prolong the time because I got to get to the good stuff here. Okay, when it comes down to Florida election integrity law, SB 524, Chris is against it, and DeSantis is for it. Public parental rights in education law, Chris is against it. He opposes it. DeSantis is for it. When he talks about protecting girls in sports, Chris opposes that. Okay, DeSantis is for it. Ban on sanctuary cities. Charlie Crist, he's opposed it. And Governor Ron DeSantis, he is for it. And as far as taxpayer protection pledges, Chris is against it. And DeSantis is for it. So you cast your vote based on what you think or you believe is beneficial to you. But I already said that if you any politician, any candidate who stands with abortion for abortion does not get my vote. Okay, so I'm gonna make that clear. But anyway, that's what we have for the governor's race and their positions on the laws that's before us right now. So let's move on to the Senate race here. Hey, y'all talk back to me here. Or y'all just want to hear what I have to say here. Okay, well, that's fine too. I can do that. But I'm going to get to the good stuff in a minute here because I saw a video over the weekend someone had sent to me. And I'm going to say it this way. I have a problem with it because I believe this is exactly what's wrong with the church. Okay, but we're going to get to that. Let's look at the Senate race. Okay, again, abortion on demand. The two candidates for the Senate race in the Senate race for the state of Florida is Val Demings, who's a Democrat, and Mr. Marco Rubio, who's a Republican. Okay, and abortion on demand. Val Demings, she supports that. Marco Rubio is against it. Biden Build Back Better Act. Demings is for it. Marco Rubio is against it. Nationalize Elections Freedom to Vote Act. Okay, that's Bill 2747. Val Demings is for it, and Mr. Marco Rubio is against it. Withdrawal from Paris Climate Agreement, Val Demings opposes it. Marco Rubio is for it. Taxpayer Protection Pledge, no for Demings, yes for Rubio. Equality Act, special rights for LGBTQ. Val Demings is for it, and Mr. Rubio is against it. Emergency. Now, let's talk about that a minute. You talk about LGBT, transgender, you talk about homosexuality. The Bible speaks against that. The Bible speaks against that. So if you're casting your vote for someone who supports that, who supports homosexuality, so then doesn't that make you align with that you support homosexuality? Church, do you support homosexuality? And I'm talking to the pastors. You know, we got pastors that are really telling, and see, again, we're talking about your place of influence. So pastors, I'm going to go on record and say here, if you are promoting, or let me use this word, the right word, correct. Let me correct myself. If you are influencing your congregation there's just two things on this ticket, okay? Just two things. You may not know nothing about the Elections Freedom to Vote Act. You may not know anything about the Paris Climate Agreement. You may not understand the full details of that. Let me finish one more thing on here. Protect girls' sports. In essence, you know how we have these transgender males, because I'm not going to call him a man, males wanting to play on girls' sports. You know, and I think that a lot of that's because they're not good enough to play on the male sports, play with men of their own caliber, equal. So they rather go to the girls, say they're a girl or a young woman. But anyway, Val Demings is against protecting girls' sports. Mr. Rubio is for it, okay? But going back to my point, here you are, if you're supporting just two of those things, church, if you are supporting candidates who stand for just two of these issues that's on this ticket item, that is abortion and homosexuality, the question is, are you really standing for God or are you standing against him? Let's be realistic. Let's look at this thing now, because we're talking about your salvation on the line. Now, you can cast your vote and say, well, yeah, but I'm with the Democratic Party, because a lot of churches, especially Black churches, they vote based on party lines. And I'm going to say this, I'm sure you have some white churches that vote on party line. Okay? But can I help you all here? It is not a political party thing. It is not a black and white when it comes to politics. It is a God thing. It is a godly principle thing. It is a value thing. What are you valuing? Are you valuing the ways of God? Come on, can we just pull the cover back a little bit and let's be realistic? Okay? I need to go back a little bit here and talk about Charlie Crist. Charlie Crist is for securing equal rights for trans people, considering let me see how I wrote this. Securing equal rights for trans people this is what he said. I apologize. He says, securing rights for trans people is the modern day civil rights for this generation. Your only right is to remain, in the eyesight of God, is to remain a male, if you're a male, and to remain a female, if you are a female. Candidate Charlie Crist is also, he's the only candidate for governor who supports taxpayer-funded sex change treatments for Florida trans adults and youth. So in essence, he wants to take my taxpayer dollars and yours and every other Christian out there and believer, use your money that you go and work your 9 to 5 or self-employed or your business to fund sex change treatments. Is that something God would support? If you can find that where God supports that in the word of God, then you know what? By all means, cast your vote. He's the only candidate for governor who believes your gender is your choice. I'm going to talk about this. I'm talking to the church. So I guess if you're not a part of the church, I guess this doesn't apply to you. And that's okay. He is for overturning laws that stops teachers from telling children that their gender is their choice. Really? Nah. If I had a child in school, even a grandchild, and they was to tell me that a teacher was talking to them about sex, about their gender and what have you, listen, everybody in that school will know I'm there. Now, I'm not talking about going to act like an idiot now. No, you don't have to do that. But they would never ever, when I'm done, they would never ever again even consider having that conversation with my child. I believe that's what happened to Dwayne Wade and his son, based on the inside scoop. But anyway, that's another story. We're not here to talk about Dwayne Wade right now. Okay. He also will secure free access to puberty blockers, double y'all forgive me for not being able to pronounce this word, and castration operations for Florida trans communities, including Florida trans youth. Mastectomies, I believe that's what it is. So in essence, if you're a young child and you say, well, you're a young man, 10, 12, 14, whatever years old, or 18 years old, and you say, well, look, I no longer want to be a man, I want to be a woman. So then he supports that. And that's okay. Ask me if that's okay with God. Come on, church folks. Do I have any church folks on here? Talk to me. Talk to me. I know this is not a comfortable conversation because everybody's so political. And you know what? My thing is this here. You're bold enough. And, you know, I welcome some pastors to come on here. And if you're watching and laying back in the cut, you may not want to have no comment, but let me put this phone number up. If you want to call in, you can call in. Yeah, you can call in. We could talk. Let's have a conversation about it. And you tell me, Pastor, why you support candidates. Why do you support candidates, okay, who invokes and violates the principles of God? And you are supposed to be a God-fearing man, a God-fearing woman, but you do it, especially the black church, you do it because of Democratic Party lines instead of looking for the truth in that individual. Talk to me here. Talk to me here. Now, if I was talking about girlfriend, boyfriend, and, you know, the stuff that y'all like, man, I'd be having all kind of comments on here. Yes. Yeah, but, okay, but listen, those are the two main parties. I want to get that information now because I'm going to do my part because we got to protect our families. At the end of the day, as fathers who fear God, who stand for God, we have to protect our families. That's what I'm doing. And see, these are people who we vote for who make laws, who put laws into place that even we as Christians have to abide by because Romans 13:1 tells us that. So here it is, we voting for individuals who would implement laws that would cause us to go against our moral values and the principles of God. We should not be doing that. Okay? We should not be doing that. All right. I saw a video. I'm going to put this video up. And when I saw this video, I'm going to tell you all, I was very, very disturbed by it. And it's a video of pastor or doctor, however you may want to refer to him, because no disrespect here, Jamal Bryant, attacking another brother that looks just like him. Well, in color. In color. Now, what got me, several things got me, but I'm going to play this video first, and then I'm going to give you my narrative on it. All right.
I remember when I was much younger in ministry, I was traveling.
Now I'm going to play this in two parts because I want to point out something here. I want to point out something here. So it's going to be in two parts when I play this video.
Around the world with Pastor Benny Hinn, doing healing crusades in Africa and in Europe and across the United States. And we left out of a meeting. Pastor Benny Hinn laid hands on me and said, Pastor Bryant, the power of healing is on you. I said, thank you, Pastor. I went back to Empowerment Temple in Baltimore, where I formerly pastored. There was a woman who came in the church on a walker. I prayed over her for the Lord to heal her. She threw down her walker.
I want to pause right there. And I want to point out something. Let me get this up here right. I believe that's a Kappa jacket that he has on. Let me help y'all. My understanding, that signifies Greek gods. So why is the church affiliating themselves with these Kappa or with these, what they call them? What do they call these groups? These fraternities. If you don't believe me, don't agree with me, check it out for yourself. Let me go and keep going here.
And started running around the building. The church went into pandemonium, and I really felt like the power of God was on me for healing until the next Sunday.
The other thing that caught my attention here, I do apologize for breaking this up, but I'm going to let it play, is the emblem that he has on the podium stand that has the Black Lives Matter fist holding a cross. Listen, if you are not troubled by that, because I know my spirit didn't agree with it. And you may say, well, that's just you. Ain't nothing wrong with it because Black lives do matter. All lives matter. White lives, pink lives, red lives, brown lives, all lives matter. Especially from a Christian perspective. I'm talking to the church now. I want to make that clear. All lives matters, church. We should not be divisive. We should not be divisive when it comes down to other human beings who may not look like us. Let me ask this here. Do you think that there's going to be a black section in heaven and a white section and a Hispanic section in heaven? Is there going to be a Russian section, or is there really? Come on, talk to me here. Is there really going to be that when it comes down to it? I don't think so. Let me keep going here.
The same woman came back to church with her walker. I'm looking at her coming down the aisle, dragging that walker with her. I'm angry, I'm incensed. I waited for the choir to start singing, everybody to start standing so I could slip out of the pulpit and go check her. I said, look, lady, you messing us both up. Said the people gonna think I'm a hoax. They gonna think I'm a con artist. You took off running around this church last week saying God healed you, and you were back this Sunday with a walker.
I'm gonna stop right there. He trying to take God credit. I didn't like that comment. And that's, you're gonna mess us up. I know we're talking about politics, but I'm talking about what we're following. I'm talking about what we're connecting ourselves to. I'm talking about who we are listening to. I'm talking about who, as leaders, we're allowing to influence her. Now, people laughed, and people may be okay with that. But if you ask me, help me, Lord. I saw a conceited spirit right then. You're going to go and check the lady because she chose to walk with her cane still? Why you just didn't leave it up to God? But anyway, I got to hurry up. I got to hurry up because I'm running out of time. Let me hurry up.
She said, Pastor Brian, I didn't mean no disrespect. God did heal me. I said, if he healed you, then why do you still have the walker? She said, I'm healed. And I believe that God has given me the full strength of my legs to be able to walk on my own. But now I'm used to having a walker. Used to having a walker, and people know me for my walker. It ain't nothing wrong with me still keeping this walker. I paid good money for it. I said, absolutely not. When Jesus healed the man at the pool, he told him, rise, take up your bed, and walk. You can't keep what used to be a crutch. And some of y'all are laughing at that lady, but a whole lot of y'all are just like her because God healed you, God delivered you, God gave you strength, and you keep dragging that Negro, you keep keeping that same job, you keep holding on to who you used to be because you think you need what you already been delivered from.
And you got a great point. His point is right. But again, that's based on the faith of the individual. If I pray for someone and they proclaim their healing, then you know what? Then God gets the glory, not me. God is exalted, not me. And that's how it should be. I don't even think that that was even worth something to say, but anyway, that was his choice. But let me move on to the next one.
I was thinking about that episode in my ministry.
Okay, so now what he's doing, the reason I played the first one, because what he's about to say now generated from that incident, as he just stated, in his ministry. Let's go here.
And Carl Jung's word association test came to mind, which is based on the idea that your subconscious can control your conscience. That one word can unleash past trauma or reveal unresolved internal conflicts. I hadn't thought about that incident for years until I was emotionally triggered sitting at home watching television. And every commercial that started playing said Walker for Senate. I hadn't thought about it. I don't even know what made my mind go back to it. But Physiopedia pronounced a walker is a walking aid used to stabilize patients with poor balance, compromised mobility, and lower extremity impairment. Ladies and gentlemen, when the Republican Party of Georgia moved Herschel Walker from Texas to Georgia so that he could run for Senate, it's because change was taking too fast in the post-antebellum South. The state had been flipped blue, And there are some principalities that were not prepared for a black man and a Jewish man to go to Senate at the exact same time. So
who cares? Who cares when it comes to leadership? Who cares about a man's culture? Again, what we should be concerned about is the values in which that individual, that candidate, wants to influence over this nation. Are they values that is going to benefit family? Are they values that are going to benefit the woman, the mother, the grandmother, the father, the husband, the grandfather, the children? I'm talking about it. Let me say this now. Now, you are going to say, well, it's always been like this here, going back for ages, since the beginning of time, blah, blah, blah. But we're supposed to be change agents. We're supposed to be, yes, change agents. We're supposed to be implementing and magnifying the will of God. And I didn't come to preach. I'm not here to preach to anybody, but I'm just here to talk some truth. But let's continue here.
They figured that they would delude us by picking somebody who they thought would in fact represent us better with a football than with a degree in philosophy. They thought we were so slow, that we were so stupid, that we would elect the lowest caricature of a stereotypical broken black man as opposed to somebody who is educated and erudite and focused. Y'all ain't ready for me.
Y'all okay with that? Let me know in the comments. He attacked another brother. A broken black man. He was slow. I think Moses stuttered. Y'all not ready for this yet. Let me keep going.
Me today. Since Herschel Walker was 16 years old, white men been telling him what to do, telling him what school to go to, where to live, where to eat, where to buy a house, where to run, where to sit down, where to sleep, where to pay for abortions, where to buy a gun. And you think they not gonna tell him how to vote? In 2022, we don't need a walker, we need a runner. We need somebody who gonna run and tell the truth about January 6th. We need somebody who gonna run and push for the cancellation of student loan debt.
You want to vote for someone that's gonna, as you stated, push for cancellation of student loan debt when they created the debt. So in essence, again, that sounds like socialism to me. You work, you pay your bills, but here it is, you have someone who don't pay their bills, done went and got a 4-year degree on a course that they're not even using, can't even use, or whatever, but you want them to have, no, bro. No, it's not fair to every other person that have already paid their student loan debt. It's not fair. So that's taken from the rich in today's time. It's taken from the poor and given to the poor. Talk to me.
Yes, we need somebody who gonna run and make the former president respond to a subpoena. We don't need a walker. We need somebody who will be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding, knowing that your labor is not in vain. Georgia, I need you to know the slave Negroes y'all are used to don't live here no more. We can think for ourselves, function for ourselves, and vote for ourselves. Why? Because we don't need a walker.
So my question is, where in that message did it unite? Where in that message, Jamal Bryant, that it expressed love? Where in that message did it represent God? But then you're saying that Mr. Walker only had the white man to tell him what to do all his life. But you know what? When I saw this, though, Mr. Jamal Bryant, into the church, whoever may see this, as a matter of fact, I dare you to share it. I challenge you to share it. Because I'm not going to run away. Because unless we are, if the world is bold enough to push in our face as Christians immoral attributes, why aren't we bold as well to push back and give them what God says according to the word? Let's keep our opinions out of it. Because I didn't find that uplifting. I found that as an emotional statement, because if anything, see, I don't use the word racism because I don't agree with it, and I feel that it's a fascist word that has been created. Because guess what? God only created one race, and that is the human race. We're not part of the dog race or dog animals or no animals or no any beast, anything. God only created one race, and that's the human race. But what was that motivating? In essence, if it did motivate, it motivated you. What you did, Mr. Jamal, is that you motivated your congregation. You influenced your congregation to vote for someone, another man who's supposed to be a man of God, a Christian, that supports LGBTQ. You're encouraging your congregation to vote for a man who believes and supports abortion. I'm just talking about two issues right now. And you're okay with that. So then you are a culprit to that as well. Or what's the word? Accessory. And I'm going to say this because it needs to be said. We have a lot of black churches that thinks that same way, with leaders who thinks that same way. Listen, we got to change that. It's wrong. If nobody ain't never told you that it was wrong, I'm telling you tonight, it was wrong. You cannot vote for now. But this is where I want to go with this, Mr. Jamal Bryant, because this is what I said. I'm like, whoa, bro. Of all people. And I'm not trying to throw no shade, but I want to make a point here. Because Mr. Bryant, and for every other pastor, leader, whomever you are, a person of influence, the scripture says that whatever you measure will be measured back to you. Judge not that you be not judged. And Mr. Jamal Bryant, he cast a judgment on Mr. Walker, which was an error. And the reason I said it was an error because you said it because this man stands for the principles of God. And you attacked him, man of God. And I'm calling Mr. Bryant's name, but that go for every other Bryant out there, Jamal Bryant out there, that thinks like he thinks. But when I saw that, I was like, you know what? I know Jesus writing his name in the dirt. Because you can't talk, bro. None of us can talk. None of us should ever put ourselves in a position to openly castrate another brother like that. And this is a brother, wherever you think about Mr. Walker, he is a brother that believes in God. And he has confessed that. He has stated that, but yes, you attack him in such an immoral, despicable way. Well, let's listen to this. Let's look at this here. Play another video,
and
then we're gonna
of
get off
redemption. Pastor Jamal Bryant's fall from. We begin with the story of Pastor Jamal Bryant. It's a story of sin and of redemption. Pastor Jamal Bryant's fall from grace began with an extramarital affair that tore up his congregation and destroyed his marriage.
Else you would have never showed up on his radar.
I went to his megachurch, the Empowerment Temple in Baltimore, Maryland, to talk about the affair that ended his marriage, disrupted his congregation, almost destroyed his ministry, but changed him as a man and as a preacher.
Man, I want to let this play. Because he fell from grace. Mr. Bryant, you can't do that. We can't do that. But then yesterday you got redemption from God. I'm going to play this and then I'm going to get off. I'm going to play this and let it get off.
Several years ago, all of a sudden, you're on TBN.
Yes.
And folks are saying, oh, he's the next great preacher.
Right.
You're being called by churches left and right.
Yeah.
And here you are, a young pastor.
Yes.
Thriving, growing church. And all of a sudden, those temptations meet you head on.
Well, I didn't have a litmus test. You had to understand, I was a national televangelist since I was 29. And the whole world had opened up for me. In every stage, I'm preaching in arenas, convention centers, mass mega churches.
You know what? I'm done with that one. I'm not going to play it all. Because I'm going to tell you what I didn't hear. Y'all could go and listen to it. Roland Martin. All right? I'm going to tell you what I didn't hear. And all I heard was him talking about his accolades, his accomplishments, and this and that down. But not one time did I hear him say, yes, I messed up. I apologize. I was wrong. I violated my rights, my marital rights to my wife. I asked forgiveness of my wife. I asked forgiveness of the church because I caused some people in the church to fall. And I'm even asking you even right now just to have mercy on me. You know, I've asked God to forgive me. But that's not, if you're going to listen to it, that's not what you heard. But yet still, this is the man who wants to influence people. Influence people. When you yourself needed God's grace. And you yet attack another brother. I didn't see nothing godly in that. But this is the type of leadership that we are following. And they're the ones who are telling us who to vote for. But I'm going to say this, and then we're going to get off of here. I know I don't overstate my time, but it's okay. Y'all didn't talk too much to me tonight, but that's okay. As Christians, we should not support abortion, and we should not support homosexuality. And if you as a pastor, as a leader, is encouraging your congregation to cast their vote for candidates who support and stand for those two things, I'm here to tell you openly, you are in error. You're not standing with God, you are standing against God. And if you want to call and share your view, I'll put my number up here one last time. 954-559-5929. Never mind the other bills. The other bills are important as well. Principles that they stand for. But if you as a church, even if you've already, if you have already cast your vote for those particular candidates, then ask God to repent. You repent, you ask God for forgiveness, and you move on. Do not allow yourself to do that again. Stop voting party lines and vote. You know what? This is what a word I heard somebody say, endorsing. Don't endorse the wrong candidate that does not line up with your endorsement of God. Let's not do that. But I'm here. Any leader, any pastor, any community representative that would like to have a conversation with me on what I've shared here tonight, please feel free to call me at 954-559-9300. I've been here in Miami for the past 60 years. I'm not going anywhere. We got to avoid socialism as well. I'm going to say it. I was talking with someone on the day, and they said to me that a lot of people, especially Black people, you need to travel to some of these third world countries and see how they really live before you really realize and value what we have here in America. A lot of you are following Obama. And I can go on record here and tell you, Obama, President Obama, he got my vote the first time. Because my theory, just like a lot of you, never thought that you would live long enough to see a Black man in the White House. But I watched what he did, his principles, his values, his voting, his leadership. And you may disagree with me, but President Obama did not do anything that benefited the Black race. So he did not get my second vote. When he ran the second time, he didn't get my vote. I believe I had wrote in Jesus, if I'm not mistaken. Jesus Christ. No. Y'all have to do your own research, please, okay? Do your own research. Don't be afraid. I didn't say I was a Democrat. I didn't say I was a Republican. I didn't say I was an independent tonight. But I am a Christian. And I'm going to vote for those who stand on Christian principles and values. That's what I'm going to stand on. So, hey, there's the number. I don't mind having a conversation. See y'all next week. God bless.